Coming on NCC News, a surprising look at what our school NCC has to offer these days. Find out about some local events happening in our lovely state. We'll update you on some unfortunate events that happen in some states and tell you about protesters in Spain. Also today, all our viewers will get a chance to learn a little about our director and discuss mental health in the Black community. So be sure to stay tuned. These stories and more are coming up on NCC News.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing. Wow!
I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again. 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. If I say dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
I fainted at the sight of blood. Me, a nurse? I had no idea that's what I'd be when I went to NCC. But NCC is not like other colleges.
NCC has a Student Success Center where counselors assist every student in creating a future.
I'm so happy. Nurse Robbins. I created that.
Be who you want to be. Create your future at NCC.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Hello, I'm Gabe Calderon.
And I'm Perry Hoy. In our top story, victims of the deadly historical Pulse nightclub shooting remembers victims of the deadly...
Just surpassing a year after America's worst deadly mass shooting at Pulse nightclub, the trauma abruptly resurfaces. Just surpassing a year after America's worst deadly mass shooting at Pulse nightclub, the trauma abruptly resurfaces with the record being broken again. With this recent tragedy of the Vegas concert shooting, the victims still managed to extend a loving hand. Mary Jane Holland has a story.
More than a year later, the pain is still fresh for survivors of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. The news of another mass shooting, now the largest in U.S. history, forced them to relive the horrific memories that happened here.
We woke up to this, and this brought us back to what happened that night.
But they didn't just watch the news. Instead, they got dressed in their survivor t-shirts and hats and gathered here, as painful as it is, to show support for Las Vegas survivors.
And it's going to be hard every day that they wake up. And sometimes we feel it's gone or it's subsided and we're okay, but it's not.
The Pulse survivors want to offer counsel to those hurting in Las Vegas.
It's really hard to sit down with somebody who says that I understand what you're going through when they don't. So it was easier when the Boston people came and said, we understand, because they did understand.
And they plan to get professional guidance on how to relate with victims and their families.
We're going to ask those therapists to teach us to be therapists for them. And then hopefully, somehow, some way, we can find a way to Vegas and be therapists for those people who need it.
Adrian Lopez lost 8 friends here at Pulse. He crawled outside to safety.
We will show them that we will stand together. And we are together. And I want them to know they're not alone. We're here for them, and we can support them on anything they want. Even to talk to us, ask us questions.
A massive new demonstration took place against Catalonian independence, but there are conflicting accounts of the numbers of attendees. The Barcelona police say 350,000 people attended, but the organizers say more than 1 million. Independent supporters were advised to stay home to avoid friction in the streets. Atika Schubert has the report from Barcelona.
Well, the rally has just ended, and we heard some very emotional, impassioned speeches from organizers appealing for unity, asking for Catalonia to remain a part of Spain and to be a vibrant part of the country. What we saw in terms of numbers, hundreds of thousands of people came out. It was just a sea of red and orange, Spanish and Catalan flags. Many people telling us, that they didn't want to have to choose between being one or the other. According to organizers, nearly 1 million came out onto the streets. I'm not sure it's quite that large. According to the city police, they say it was more than 350,000. Either way, a massive crowd, and one that's determined to get their message out. They want to be heard, that they still want to be united with Spain. Atika Schubert, Barcelona.
We received more information about the very unfortunate deadly mass shooting that took place in Las Vegas, Nevada. Lisa Frank has the story.
Authorities learning more about the man who committed the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Firing into a crowd of thousands from a hotel room high above a country music festival. Police believe Stephen Paddock killed himself before they could enter his room, ending the massacre. Police finding at least 19 firearms, explosives, several thousand rounds of ammunition in his home in Mesquite, Nevada. And in his room in the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, they found 23 weapons, including a handgun and multiple rifles, and several pounds of ammonium nitrate, a material used to make explosives, in his car. After the massacre, people lining up to give blood. Lights dimmed on the Vegas Strip after the tragedy, and across the country, vigils were held for those killed and injured in the attack, while victims recounted their stories of survival.
Me and my friend turned around and started running, and she looked back and my knee gave out, and I was like, I just got shot, I can't run. And I was like, you go, just go get somewhere safe. And so I dove under this bar to get cover, and this guy helped me wrap my foot because it was just gushing out blood everywhere. And you just kept hearing gunshots, and they just weren't stopping.
A mysterious and unfortunate death of a young girl named Kanika Jenkins has been getting a lot of attention of social media. James Brown has the story.
The family of 19-year-old Kanika Jenkins is hoping police and officials at the hotel can provide answers about her death. They are far from satisfied with what they've been told so far.
I believe that someone in this hotel killed my child.
Jenkins was at the hotel Friday night and Saturday morning for a party in a room on the 9th floor. When friends and family were unable to find her Saturday morning, they reported her missing. After searching for a short time, hotel employees discovered the body of a young woman in the freezer in the kitchen. Relatives say police told them Jenkins was intoxicated and walked into the freezer on her own.
It's something that no one could ever imagine. It's unbelievable. It's struck.
The hotel issued a statement saying, in part, our thoughts are with the young woman and her family during this difficult time. The hotel staff will continue to cooperate fully with local authorities.
It was very frustrating and heartbroken, especially to have hope and then to see your little sister just gone.
Interested in meeting some local business owners and perhaps buying some products while networking? You should make your way to the Stratford Flea Market every October.
We're at Janky Gems, all three of our businesses. Our shop is Janky Gems right now. We are popping up from Smoke and Mirrors Parlor in Milford, Connecticut. We do a little bit of everything. We style hair. We also curate vintage clothing and style our clients. And we do a little bit of art too. So we invite our clients who are artists to showcase their work inside of our place and resell it to our clients to keep the network moving.
I'm the owner of Fright Haven, and I'm also one of the scare masters. One of my favorite things to do is teach people how to scare. This is really an art and a science to scaring. It's not just jumping out and saying boo, which is something we don't want. Fright Haven is Connecticut's largest and scariest a vast indoor haunted house. It's a lot different than some of the other haunted attractions because it's indoors. So if it rains or bad weather, it's still there to scare you. It's 20,000 square feet of scares with like 50 actors jumping out at every corner, and it's animatronics. And we live for scaring, and we're pretty good at it because we've been doing it for quite a while.
When we come back, a surprising look at what NCC has to offer from scholarships to mobile clinics. Stay tuned.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
What college are you going to?
I don't know.
What do you want to be?
I don't know. My parents want me to be an architect.
Architect?
Yeah, but it's my future. I want to do something that turns me on.
What turns you on?
I don't know.
We know NCC has a Student Success Center where counselors assist every student in creating a future.
You'd make a cute pirate.
I don't know.
We know. Be who you want to be. Create your future at NCC.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Did you know you may be eligible to receive free money just from being a student at Nora Community College? Let Andrea Santos tell you about the NCC Foundation.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Santos. I'm the student representative for the NCC Foundation. To give you a brief background about the foundation, it was founded in 1961 and is considered the only community college foundation in Connecticut. So to give you some of these scholarships are the Spring Scholarship, the Full Year Scholarship, and also the Leap Transfer Scholarship. So guys, apply for free money. The NCC Foundation awards free scholarship based on your academic experience and also your financial need. So if you think you're eligible for a scholarship, drop by the NCC Foundation office in the East Campus on the 3rd floor in the room East 311.
Have you dreamed about creating something out of thin air? Maybe etching something from a laser? If so, we have a safe space to brainstorm and use those type of tools at NCC's makerspace.
Hello, my name is Dick Koch. I'm chairman of the Makerspace Advisory Board.
I'm Vladimir Mariano, and I'm the Makerspace Supervisor.
So the Nora Community College Makerspace has been in development for about a year, and it consists of a series of hand tools as well as electrical equipment to help people actually build things. In addition to the standard hand tools that people would normally think about, we have a 3D printer, we have a laser etching machine, as well as a CNC cutting machine. It's for much more sophisticated projects that are all computer driven. The Nora Community College Makerspace is for everyone. It's not strictly for engineers. But we do expect that the architecture department will be very interested in having their students utilize some of this equipment. There are a number of other departments that have expressed interest, and we will be working with them individually to make Makerspace become a true part of both the curriculum, but it also can be used for just fun and enjoyment by all students at the college.
We're located at room West 124, directly across the culinary arts room. I'll be doing the training of use of the machines, and so therefore I'll be training students and faculty. If anyone wants to use the machine, they can either come in during my hours right now, which are Mondays 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. or Fridays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also go to the website under the facilities, under makerspace. You can submit a form there requesting to use the space.
Ever been at school and you feel a little under the weather, or feeling stressed from school and you need someone to talk to? Then Nora Community Health Bus might be the place for you.
My name is Suzanne Curto, and I'm one of the behavioral health clinicians on the mobile medical unit of Norwalk Community Health Center. So Norwalk Community Health Center has a main site at 120 Connecticut Avenue, and also our mobile medical unit, we like to call it the MMU, and that is what you're going to see here. Our mobile medical unit has integrated care, meaning that we provide both primary medical care, walk-ins for acute visits, as well as behavioral health. So, for example, I treat things like depression or anxiety or addiction, for example. So we have both primary care and behavioral health care right here on our mobile medical unit. Thursdays we're here at Norwalk Community College. And we're so excited to be able to service really anyone who has a need for an acute visit or primary care or immunizations, any medical needs you might have. We're able to offer EKG right on site here on our bus. And as I said, in addition, we have behavioral health services, and I am the licensed clinical social worker who serves in.
Are you hungry and looking for a snack that won't break your pockets, and that's also for a good cause? Look no further than a student-ran bake sale by the Student World Assembly Club.
Well, my name is Frank Velez. As you can see, this is Student World Assembly Club. Our mission, our goal is to promote cultural diversity and also to address global issues. In this case, we're addressing this global issue that happened in Puerto Rico, hurricanes. We're doing a bake sale. All the profits, 100% of the profits we're going to make today are going to a foundation or association that will help Puerto Ricans. You can find us on Tuesdays, 2:30 to 3:30 at room 219. Our contact information is not yet available because the club just reopened. They were shut down for a couple of months. So the people you can see right here are the ones that are active for now. Hopefully there are going to be more.
She's so neat. Oh. Coming up on NCC News, meet our director, then learn and hear about mental health in the Black community after these messages.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Now, I would like you to meet our director in her short About Me video.
My name is Shana Jhonson. I was born on March 12, 1994. I'm a Pisces sun and moon. I am from Bridgeport, Connecticut, born and raised. And I moved to New Haven sometime around high school, like around 2012 when I graduated. So originally I wanted to go to school for fashion, but they don't really got any community college that have fashion as a degree program, only as a certificate program. And I was like, my next passion is film, which I grew up off a bunch of scary movies and watching thrillers and suspense with my family. That's like been a big thing growing up. So I decided if I could go to school for film, then that's just as good, and that's something I really enjoy and I can make money off of, so might as well. Decided to come all the way up to NCC because NCC was the only college that was a community college that had video production. So I've been traveling all up and down the east coast of Connecticut since a couple years now. I've been a student of Stoney's since TV1, and right now I'm currently doing this and filming for TV3, which is we're making a newscast. I plan to graduate with my associate's degree, and I plan on moving to Atlanta to go to school for media studies or video production. We're going to Stuyvesant, which is in Connecticut. Think of by towards New Haven. One of my dream jobs would be having my own special effects makeup company that make prosthetics and monsters and makeup for horror movies. And I would love to work on documentaries and music videos in the future. And that's what I want to do with film. So.
Now what you've been waiting for, a very important and much needed discussion of mental health in the Black community and some stigmas attached.
I am Deontay Moore. I am a resident of Bridgeport, Connecticut, have been my whole life. I graduated from the Bridge Academy Charter School in 2013, and I am a current animal science major at the University of Connecticut. So I guess to start off, I can say that in high school, I was a pretty happy kid. I had a clear vision of what my life was going to be. I knew I wanted to be a vet. I've always known that since I was a kid. And I got accepted to my dream school. I got a full ride. I was leaving the projects. So like, I was on top of the world. It wasn't until probably about a month into my first semester at UConn did I sort of come to the realization that racism is still alive and well in the world. And once I realized that I no longer wanted to be a vet because my plan was to work with large animals, but I told myself most likely to work with cows I was going to have to move to the south or a rural area, and I didn't want to have to deal with racism. And I think that was the beginning of my depression, for sure. And at the time I didn't realize it. I thought that I was just sad, and I remember I would spend like all my paychecks on alcohol. I'm talking every week I would go to the package store and spend at least $300. I was that kid freshman year that got everyone drunk and wanted to have a good time, but deep down inside, looking back now, I can see that it was just self-medication. Once I realized that racism was alive and well, and like I personally felt like the black man was America's #1 enemy, my whole world was shattered. I developed the mindset of, what's the point of going to school? What's the point of getting a degree if at the end of the day I'm still gonna have to deal with racism when it comes to getting a mortgage or getting a bank loan or even in the workplace? And I just dealt with that the wrong way. I chose alcohol, I chose marijuana, and I was pretty much drunk every day my entire freshman year. I ended up on academic probation my sophomore year, and I was still drunk. I wasn't talking to my family about it because, you know, I was a first generation college kid. You know, I just told them that everything was going well because, I don't know, I felt like where I come from, that I didn't have the right to be like depressed. I had a full ride to my dream school and I was sort of throwing it all away because I didn't know what I wanted to be in this world. Friends of mine will recommend therapy, but like where I come from, like people don't really like telling their business, especially to a complete stranger. With me, it was more, I felt like I wasn't depressed. I knew I was sad, but I never identified with the feeling of being depressed until I did go see a therapist and she said, you are suffering from extreme depression. So the fall semester of my junior year at UConn, I took an Africana course for the first time, and our professor had us write poems, and she said, I want you guys to write a poem on anything. You have 10 minutes and then you're going to present. And I sat there and I wrote a poem about my childhood, and I titled it, My Childhood Was Beautiful Until I Grew Up. That was the first time I actually sat down and looked at everything I've been through as a kid growing up in the projects from Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I realized that my childhood wasn't as great as I thought it was. Like, I always knew we were poor. I lived in the projects. Obviously, like, I wanted to get out of the hood, but I never realized just how traumatic it was for me. And that's where the title came from, that my childhood was beautiful until I grew up. Because here I was now, this 21-year-old student at the state school, and I was depressed. And a lot of what I was depressed about, I guess I've always been depressed about. I just never realized it. When I look back at my childhood, I was definitely a fearless kid because I had to be, but I was labeled as bad, problematic, trouble. I was always in a PATH office with them pointing to pictures of different emotions, asking me how I felt, and I was good at keeping secrets. I didn't want anyone to know that I had anything going on. I remember one time in the 3rd grade, I started to hold my breath in the middle of the class, and the teacher sent me to the office, and I think I got detention for that. I remember when 2 guys broke into our house with guns back when we were like in the 7th grade, so I was like 12 years old, and my sister was scared to come home, and I wasn't, but I sort of lost the feeling of security that I guess I had then living in the hood. I remember when a close family friend of ours was shot and killed right in front of our house, and I can remember thinking, like, which bullet was it that took his life? Was it the first one? Was it the second one I heard? And I remember when my mom just started screaming his name, that it was him, and it was all chaos out there. I think as a kid, when I faced trauma, I always try to feel for the other people. So like when Richard was shot and killed, I didn't really think about how it affected me. More so I thought about his wife and his daughters and how they're gonna have to go through that, and they're gonna have to bury their dad and their husband. And I never really sat and thought about how it affected me. I think I always say that what saved me, what made me not turn to gang violence or whatever other stereotype people like to attach from kids from the hood, is that I did have that vision, that I wanted to be a vet. And it was like a tunnel vision. It's all I saw, it's all I focused on. I knew it was my ticket out of this life that I was born into. And once I got to college and that dream was shattered, I no longer had a purpose. I no longer knew what my place was in this world. And then on top of all that, I had to deal with the fact that the world was racist, and I was a black man. I was a gay black man. And it's just so many layers to it.
Hello, my name is Dr. Nora Elizabeth Cunningham. I received my undergrad degree in psychology from Trinity College, master's degree from Central Connecticut State University in marriage and family therapy, and my doctoral degree in marriage and family therapy from Antioch University in New England. I am a licensed therapist who works with relationships, whether it's in families or couples, and I also provide trauma treatment, which is the accelerated resolution therapy training that I received. So I started doing a little bit of research and looking into the background, because I know and I recognize even from a young age that a lot of us, when it comes to minorities and mental health and receiving support for that, a lot of us were told within our families to whatever happens in the house needs to stay in the house, and whatever is happening within the home that you might not like should not be discussed with anyone outside of the home, because then there was almost like a breach of loyalty to the family, and then also a consideration of embarrassment. But I started realizing that there were about 20% more likely to see mental health concerns within the African American population compared to the population in the United States as a whole. And then if you add on poverty, we're 3 times more likely to see minorities or African Americans with mental health concerns. So there's a prevalence there, but then why are we not receiving treatment? There's a couple of reasons. One has to do with stigma, like I was sharing, where within our culture, it's not considered appropriate to go outside of the home to ask for support. But there's also judgment, because I think that, within people's families, there's judgment if consideration of treatment is even brought up, because then they're like, what's going on? Why, are you crazy because you're going to see a mental health counselor? When in reality, the person isn't crazy. I believe that at any point in time in people's lives, there's a necessity to be able to ask for support. If there's certain skill sets that are not present, or we're not able to be fostered through a family relationship or through home life, that they should be able to receive that somewhere, and sometimes it's through meeting with a professional counselor or a therapist. Now, the other piece has to do with the prevalence of having other minority or African American counselors. Now, taking a look at that, we account for, just saying minority in general, not even African American, we are 16% of the workforce. So even out of all of the counselors that are out there, 16% of us are minorities. So there's a consideration of individuals that might not necessarily be culturally competent to be able to deal with some of the concerns that come up within the African American culture, to understand what the families may go through. And it doesn't mean that each family is exactly the same, but there are some things that do interconnect us simply through culture when it comes to heritage, what it means to have ancestry connected to slavery, to what it means to live in an impoverished community and to have that experience. Because there are things that add on to our mental health concerns, which have to do with poverty, which have to do with the prevalence of violence that are seen in lower income environments or within lower income neighborhoods. So there's likeliness to see more depression, ADHD, suicidal attempts, and PTSD among our population of African Americans. So these things should be addressed, but I think also considering cultural competence, it makes individuals feel more comfortable to meet with someone that looks like them. So then there's this sense of comfort and the desire to open up, especially with those who may already think that those outside of their culture may consider them in a negative light, dealing with things like prejudice and racism in the beginning. So even if it might not necessarily be true, but again, based on perceptions and experiences from the past, can lead to people feeling that way. So I do agree that there's a need to have more minority clinicians that can support those within their community. It doesn't mean that others are not skilled to be able to do so, but sometimes that leads to more of a barrier that they have to get beyond before they feel comfortable to even open up and share, and that therapeutic alliance being very important in order to allow us as a people to feel comfortable to even share and open up. All right, so I'm Dr. Nora Elizabeth Cunningham. If you would like to seek relational or individual therapy, don't hesitate to email me at neclmft@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 203-683-6011. I look forward to hearing from you.
Now, on a lighter note, hear what's going on in our entertainment news and how a heroic little boy takes his graduation walk across the stage.
Right now everything's kind of up in the air.
Director Joss Whedon is finishing Justice League after Zack Snyder stepped down from the project following his daughter's suicide.
Come on, Madeline.
Music news, Rolling Stone says Marilyn Manson has canceled 9 dates on his current concert tour after being injured by a falling stage prop during a performance in New York City. A representative for Manson says the concerts, which were to have taken place between October 2nd through the 14th, will be rescheduled. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
In his red cap and gown, Super Bumps marched into his high school graduation surrounded by superheroes.
Surreal.
Yeah.
Very, very emotional.
Just really, really neat. I mean, he gets to graduate school at 6, and he really wants to go to school. He loves being here.
At just 6 years old, he completed grades 1 through 12 in just 2 days, earning his diploma. And the support of the entire Fairfield community.
I didn't want him to see me cry, so it was very hard to hold back my tears today.
The whirlwind lessons included baseball during gym and physics experiments in the classroom.
It's just like made me want to have a positive outlook on everything I do, despite like what the situation might be.
It's this boy's dream to live life to the fullest as he fights pediatric cancer.
Please join us next time for more NCC news. I'm Gabriel Calderon.
And I'm Perry Hoy. Thank you and join
us. Good night.
This shit, right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those hands.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. But making sure your child is in the right seat is just one of the steps down the road to safer travels.
I don't know how it works.
Find the right seat for your little one's age and size.
We've done what you told us.
There's no better way to get home safely. Know for sure that your child is in the right seat. Get all the facts at safercar.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me. Look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
Come out NCC News, learn about current events and campus stories. Please join us next time.